What's good, Joe? What's good, Real Talk Squad? This is Miles, and you're listening to Real Talk of Miles Johnson, where I always keep it real. Let's get right into it, man. It's a long overdue episode. I'm with my boy, my brother. Y'all met during the HBCU All-Star game in Houston. My guy, Paris Watkins. How's it going? How you feel? Making it on Real Talk with MJ. About to get real.
Hey man, it's about time, man. It's long overdue, but now it's good to be here with my boy Miles, man. It's real talk with MJ and P today. You know what I'm saying? So it's time to get into it, but now it's good to see you, my boy.
No cap. Real talk. We gotta keep it real. First off, I do want to ask you, uh, just what sparked your interest in basketball, from early age? I know you played, and what made you want to continue to, coach and just be around the game?
Man, for me, the biggest thing was like I started hooping at three, bro. Like I started hooping at three, and since I made my first shot, I've been all dived in with the game of basketball. Coaching is something that came naturally to me as I was playing, throughout camps that I worked, but also just that love that you get, that passion that you get. It's a place that you can just release things that you may have going on in your personal life. And it's just a beautiful space where it brings everybody together, no matter what color you are, what your personality is, how you look. Like when you come to a basketball game or a basketball event, like everybody enjoys and has a great time. So that's a few of the reasons why I've stuck with basketball. But it's the love of my life.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, like the HBC All Star game. That's a prime example of you got basketball that brings interns together. Uh, Me and P stayed in the same room or whatever.
Man,
First
that's a
the
funny
first night
story.
before shout out Miss April, she got us in the other room. For real. But that was a movie though. Like none of that it
Yeah.
really was a movie, but not another but but like you feel me, like that wouldn't have happened without basketball. So let's get
Yeah.
straight into the hoops. You Yesterday, Kyrie Irving, he made his Drew League debut. He posted up a triple double, and he was going half at
Half
best,
speed.
half speed. So my question to you is Kyrie Irving the most skilled player in the game?
Easy. I mean, Kyrie Irving is the most skilled player we've ever seen with the basketball in his hands. When you talk
Mm.
about the ability to do everything offensively from all three levels. I mean, he can post up at 6'1", 6'2". You know what I'm saying? He can shoot the tray ball. We already know what his handles is. He got the best handles ever. So to me, it's not even close in today's game, even with all the new creative moves everybody's making. He can do all of it. So that's a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, no, he's definitely one of them ones. If he was 6'6", 6'7", it's looking like you got a potential top 10 player in the game. If Kyrie Irving is
Easy.
6'7",
Easy.
tripping. Like, oh my gosh. So I love his game. It's truly like an art. Like, yeah,
Just
it's
like watching
nobody.
Picasso, man.
Yeah. I know he ended up saying like this is art, like this is like artistry. Like I just as a pure hooper, like it ain't nobody that I can see like that if it was like I'm going to 5v5 or 3v3 or whatever at the black top, like that I wouldn't choose over Kyrie. Like that's my first pick. There's no way.
Yeah.
No way.
Now, if I'm going to the park, Kyrie most definitely one. And two, I'll probably have to grab AI personally.
AI.
I had to grab both of them just cause if we at the park. Now if we in, actual like organized setting, it'd be a little different. But if I'm at the park and I got both of them, I think I'll be all right for the day.
And what if you was at the park and you another player I pick Jason Williams?
Mm,
That's a
that's
mean player at the
tough.
park. It's a
That's the
mean player at
mean
the park.
player at the park. Another guy that I would pick at the park though is Mike Beasley.
Mm.
Michael Beasley at the park, no
Oh
rules. He can
yeah.
just hoop.
He can just
He
hoop.
wanted them ones.
He was picked
He
number two
wanted
for a
them
reason.
ones. Yeah, he wanted him one, but you know how
Mm,
the politics go.
I don't know. You feel me? You feel me? If we talking about skill, who's the most skilled passer of all time? This is all time. So you got the LeBrons, you got the Magics, you got the Steve Nashes, Chris Pauls, you got the, you feel me? I mean, John Stockton's gotta be in the conversation. He's freaking all time in assists, but who's your most
I
skilled
think
passer in the game?
I think Stockton in the conversation. I think his system fit, the fit that he was in with that system in Utah helped him out a lot. But my two that I would say is the most skilled passers to me from what I like and what I've seen is Jason Kidd and Steve Nash.
Mm.
Them is my two guys that if I need my offense ran and facilitated and to get the ball to everybody, I'm going with them too, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? You see all the stories about Jason Kidd. He just tell you, just run, just go where you're supposed to go, and I guarantee the ball gonna be there. And then the pick and roll in Phoenix with Steve Nash, like, what are we talking about, man? Like, for me, it's them two.
Hey, me, I gotta say Rajon Rondo. I mean,
Mm,
like,
that's another one.
and here's the thing, like people like they love like he had the flashy passes, but I think one thing that is important in skill is IQ. And you gotta
Facts.
if you got a high basketball IQ, like the LeBrons, like the Magics, like the Rajon Rondos, that's a skill. Don't nobody have that. Everybody does not
A lot
have
of
a
people
high
don't have that.
basketball IQ. You got
A
some
lot of
players,
players
there
in
are
the
some great
league don't.
hoopers. They don't have a high basketball IQ. But I was seeing like Rajon, in his prime with the Celtics, 10,
Oh, D.
09, 11.
You see him in the game. Tell Doc, "Hey, sit down, Doc. I got this. I
Yeah,
got this."
bro. I feel like you should be a
Now,
coach.
Rondo, yeah, Rondo most definitely he top five for me. Like even when I talk about top five point guards of all time, top 10 point guards of all time, Rondo's always in my conversation. So nah, I'm with you on that one.
Saying. But then they saying, so you think Steve Nash more skilled than Magic?
I'm not saying more skilled. I think the thing with Magic is 6'9".
Mm,
So he has the ability to be more skilled at different things than Steve Nash does. Being 6'9" is the reason why Magic can say, all right, Kareem out. I'm playing center today. Because there's really no drop off. Everybody
yeah.
talk about, Draymond was the first, small ball guy that really made it work. You know what I'm saying? Magic did that as a rookie. Like, we ain't got no center. Cool. I'm gonna go down here at 6'9". Everybody else on the floor is still 6'6" and under, six,
Well, he
seven and
dropped
under.
45 in the finals game to close it out.
Man had
Rookie year.
40 triple dub, 45, 12, and 11 or something like that, or 16. And like, that's insane. And in the finals, game six. Come on,
Yeah,
man. So
that'd be
like
different.
Magic makes it a little bit more different. I think for point guards, Magic for me is number one, clear as cut. But like he just make it a little bit more different to be more skilled at different things.
Hey, so talk about James Harden. So I woke
Mm,
up on my phone today. I saw a report that he took out the Sixers out his bio. And
mm-hmm,
for Philly, I'm really intertwined with what the Sixers are doing and all that. My thing
mm-hmm.
is, James Harden, you're like, you know, the girl who's had 4 divorces and is trying to find another partner. And they like, well, you've been ran through. Everybody, you feel me? Like, just when you like you feel me, use parts. I was it's how hard, but it's true. So my thing is like James Harden, you thought the Clippers wanted you. They not willing to give up Terrence Mann. Terrence Mann.
That's a key
So
piece to their team, though.
who?
That's a key piece to their team. Terrence Mann is a very
Oh
key
yeah,
piece
no,
to
for
that Clippers
sure.
team.
But that just goes to show you, like, they're like, I mean, we'll give you Norman Powell, Robert Covington, maybe a pick, but just how you feel about James Harden requesting a trade was kind of
Mm-hmm.
backfired because nobody in the league really wants James Harden at this stage of his career, at least for 35 mil.
I think the thing for James is like James has proven he can be on the ball. He's proven that he can be off the ball throughout his career. right now, I think all the teams are focused on the mileage that James Harden has had as a player. It has nothing to do with his skill, his attitude, or anything like that. James Harden has just had a lot of miles from OKC to coming off the bench, and then you get to Houston, and James Harden's like offensive usage rate was insane. And you talk about all those years in Houston, and you finally get out, you go to Brooklyn, which you had the injuries, that plagued that whole situation personally.
Yeah.
Because I think if those guys were healthy, it was a no-brainer that was a championship team.
Mm-hmm.
But like the injuries, and then you get to Philly, and you've been for the most part healthy. You still had some lingering injuries from Brooklyn, and now it's like, okay, you're sitting at the age that you're at, and the mileage that you've had, and we're trying to win right now. Giving up Terrence Mann for you, to me, that wouldn't be a smart move for the Clippers. If you can make that trade happen without giving up Terrence Mann, beautiful. Bring James in to add him to the three that you have with Westbrook, Paul, Kawhi, and try to keep all those guys healthy. Because I think the Clippers are in the same situation as Brooklyn, where it's like, if we're healthy, like every time the Clippers have been healthy, they've been top two in the West.
Yeah, they need to stay healthy.
And that's their biggest thing. They just got to stay healthy. So it's a question for the Clippers of just bringing James in, help us all around. Is that another injury risk that we have and have to pay for?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why in that situation that makes it tough for James. Considering that's a desired place that he wants to be.
So where you see him ending up? You see him staying on the Sixers come training camp next season. You see him playing the whole year with the Sixers, or do you see him getting traded either in the
Mm,
off season or getting traded midway during the season?
I think for James has the leverage because he just came off a great statistical year. So he's in a great position. I think for James, the biggest thing is he wants to be on a contender. So whether that's, starting the season with the Sixers and showing like, hey, like Miles is good. I'm good. I'm healthy. I'm saying, again, traded throughout the year, or just kind of sitting and letting the field players. Because I mean, James is a required taste. He's a unique taste, but he is required. He's one of those players that, I mean, if you look at the last championships that have been won, there's been a top 10 player, arguably of all time, on all of those championship teams. So he's one of those guys. So having him as an asset. So I think as far as where he'll be, it'll be on a championship contender. It's just a matter of how the season starts out, how this rest of this offseason goes, training camp goes. But I think James will be fine. He'll end up somewhere.
So you think Harden gonna have the leverage? When I think, and I disagree when you saying that I think he wants to go to a contender. He wants to go to wherever the money is at. Because I'll see the reason why he don't want to be a Sixer no more is because he gave them 15 million up to get PJ Tucker, to get,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a better team around him. And
Great
so
business move.
I could see why he's like, all right, I done gave up 15 mil. I was about to make $47 million. I put up and I made like 32 or whatever. I expect y'all to
Mm-hmm.
take care of me. His boy, Daryl Morey, take care of him. Then he was
Mm-hmm.
about to test the free agent market, and I was pretty sure he was going to go to Houston, or he was trying to go to Houston. What did they do? They gave a 43 mil to Fred VanVleet. I'm
That was
like,
a
if I'm
smart
James
move for
Harden, I'm
them.
thinking to myself, I'm better than this guy. So and Houston ain't no contender. So you don't think Harden just trying to get paid? I think at this stage, like
Mm,
I accepted my fate. I ain't gonna win no chip. I'd rather just get paid.
the reason I don't think he's looking to get paid is because like NBA players have money. Like they have money. Now, does their contracts matter? Absolutely. Do you want to get the biggest out that you can get? Absolutely. But they have money. And at this stage of his career, it's not about money for him. It's about being in a situation that fits his game, where he's able to enjoy life. I think that's a big thing for James Harden. Being in a place where he's able to enjoy life outside of the games and practices and workouts that he does for basketball. I think that's a big thing, which is why I think Houston is so attractive to him, because James Harden in Houston, he a man, hey, he a legend in the
Yeah,
city. When James Harden touched
he's
down
a
in
legend.
Houston, you know it's up. You know what I'm
It's gonna
saying?
be us
We
up.
hey, we went to the private bowling alley, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
just James Harden a man in Houston. So I think that's a big thing for James when it comes to like his whole like situation is, where can I win a chip? Where can I feel the most comfortable, like, with the organization that I'm with? And then how can I enjoy life outside of basketball? And I think that's why the places that he, you notice all the places that he's mentioned are places where he believes he can enjoy life. Houston, LA, like those are cities and places where James Harden can have fun when it's not about getting 20 and 10.
Oh, facts. Um, do you? You know, that's a good point. That's a good point. It'll be interesting to see like how he played this because I do think that the Sixers had the leverage because James Harden, if he does that whole I'm quitting, I'm gonna go to training camp, fat, all that stuff, like all that like that's just gonna lower his trade value. And they're not, and the Sixers are not finna trade him for just a bag of chips, like Daryl Morey has said. But also too, if you wanna, this it's a contract year, and you want to get paid the last time, so if you
Mm-hmm.
acting out, what's going to happen? Teams going to be more inclined to not give you any money. So
Absolutely.
might end up you might mess around and have yourself on a Russell Westbrook deal, and that's
Yeah.
just crazy. But I guess we seeing now is just like the Currys, the
That,
LeBrons,
that's a
Hardens.
different situation.
Well, who?
That Westbrook situation is a different situation.
Why?
That's because Westbrook's deal is the value of Westbrook and James Harden are completely different, just from the offensive firepower. Like it's no doubt that James Harden's a better scorer, he's a better shooter, playmaker. That's to be argued. I think Westbrook's a phenomenal playmaker, and I think Westbrook, to me, is most definitely scratching that top five, top 10 point guard all time. But like Westbrook's game is limited in a lot of aspects to where James Harden is not. You know what I mean? So I think that also plays into a fact of Westbrook's options when it comes, around the league.
Mm. Yeah, I think he could have got maybe like 12, 14 Westbrook
Mm-hmm.
from like up and coming team. But
But he wants to win.
he wants to win. I know he like
Yeah.
he generally wants to win, but it's also like, I mean, he's from Cali. Am I about to just move my family out to Detroit because they're giving me a couple more
Right.
coins?
I'm
Like
about to
that's a
just go
dumb.
to Detroit or Hornets or
Yeah.
Houston or Orlando. No,
And
like Westbrook wants to win. He's at home in Cali. They have a championship contending team, like, and he's only one in the NBA. I mean, my man's went to Washington and had them boys a game away from the playoffs with barely playing with Brad Bill. And people question how great Westbrook is because he may take a bad shot here or hit the backboard here. Like he works on that stuff. So
mm,
like bad things happen like throughout the game, tough shots happen. But like Westbrook, he not shooting it because he just shooting it. Like he works on that stuff. We've seen him hit those shots plenty of times, but we don't ever make a highlight clip of that. They only make a highlight clip of him hitting the side of the backboard or turning it over, but we don't talk about 15 assists. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
that's what happened when you play with LeBron. Like all your mistakes get highlighted on a crazy different
and
level.
he had a really good statistical year that year, which is crazy.
What, last year?
And when he played with Bron, statistically, Westbrook had a good year.
Field goal
He had a
percentages wasn't it?
good year. Field goal percentage was shaky, but if you look down the line of his stats for that team without playing with your two other stars, he had a really good year.
Now I will say he be playing games, which is like one thing that I can respect in this day and age of the NBA is like, or at least a guy like Westbrook, you gonna count on him to play every game, and that's not
Mm-hmm.
something I can say for a lot of the young guys in the league. So you can go back to like summer league. I get like I get all right, Scoot's injured, all right, fine, like you gotta sit him out. I get like a star, he's injured or whatever, sit him out. But like, why the heck are the Jazz sitting out all of their first round picks? come the summer league semifinal. Like, why is Wembenyama sitting out after his second summer league game? And that's that
Hmm.
like mindset of being like, oh no, we just gonna wait until the regular season. I'm like, it's just corny to me. Like play the games. You a basketball player. I mean, you
Right.
hoop. I don't know. I mean, I ain't hoop to level that you did, so you probably got more expertise
Right.
on this. But like,
Hmm.
I think is like, what's wrong with basketball players and teams not letting them hoop? That's like you're having a doctor say, "Oh yeah, I gotta take an off day today." Dude, you gotta save somebody's life. So I mean, like, yo, so like, what's up with like NBA players, especially the young players? We talked about John Stockton. He
Hmm.
from 38 to 40, he played 82 games straight.
82 games.
82 games. You're
82
40 years
games.
old. These guys
82
is
games.
21, 22. Like, what, bro? Maybe,
Talk
maybe,
about
maybe
low
you got the answer
management.
because you played ball, but I just don't get it.
It's it's a combination of all the new technology and analytical things that have been, invented, created, or enhanced, advanced, whatever you want to call it, right? But then it's also the day and age of this low management life. You know what I'm saying? When we think back, or at least when I think back growing up, and you as well, like growing up watching Kobe, watching Wade, watching T Mac, Duncan, KG, like these guys was playing 70, 80 games, 82 a lot of these years, like
Mm,
with injuries. I mean, I watched Kobe dislocate a finger, tear a rotator cuff. Man said, wrap it up, pop this back in place. I'm about to go out here and finish this game.
okay.
These guys, they don't play like that, which is why I think, a lot of these injuries are happening. It's because they're
Mm-hmm.
not playing. Like these guys aren't in tip top shape to play a whole 82 games. They're in great shape. They're in great shape. Like for the average person and for most of the like professional athletes, they're in great shape. But they're not in the shape of and don't have the mental state of like, I'm about to just play with this injury or go through this injury. And because a lot of guys now are thinking about life after basketball, which is there's nothing wrong with that. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
disagree with that at all. These a lot of these guys think about life after basketball, wanting to be able to walk with their kids, play with their kids, enjoy their life with their wives and their families, and not have to, accommodate to, a bad knee, at 40, 50. Not having to accommodate to, having, a bad mental state or just injuries everywhere and feeling old all the time, once they're done hooping. So I get where they're coming from now, but that's the biggest reason to why, like, you see now in the summer league, you said the Spurs, Wemby played 2 games. And it was like, all right, we done. I think a lot of that has to go with like, all right, look, you're our number one pick, so we want to kind of save you for the season, but also they can't afford for Wemby to go out there and have another 2 for 13 games.
Mm-mm.
Like we can't afford for that to be the narrative and put that pressure on you. Like they gave him all this pressure. No one's had pressure like LeBron James, and he's the only one that has stepped into those shoes and walked it straight down.
Oh, no cat.
Like kids nowadays mentally aren't built for that. Although we like tend to give it to them with social media and the regular media, like all the time, we give them this, we give them that, we say this, say that. They're not built to hit like LeBron. LeBron James had a monologue made in high school as a sophomore and junior with the
Mm-hmm.
likes of Kareem, Magic, Braun, Kobe, Shaq, and said this kid is going to be one of these guys. And he had to walk that down, and he did it. I ain't gonna say effortlessly to him, but to the public, it looked effortless.
Effortless.
LeBron has been in his prime his whole career,
Okay.
and
Whole career.
no one else has ever done that. So it's like, you
And
know, it that
it wasn't until like from his rookie year, even up to like year like at the end of 2018. I mean, shoot, at the end of 2018, that 2017, 2018 season when Kyrie left to go to
mm-hmm,
the Celtics, LeBron
mm-hmm,
played 82 games that year. Up from that past to his like rookie year, it's been like 69 games and above. And the only time it was below
69
was
and
during
above.
The only time that it was that's for like that whole like 14-year stretch, like 69
14-year
games and above.
stretch.
The only time that it was below 69 games was during the lockout year. It's the only time. That's the only time. And then obviously once he got to LA, all right, then he started playing 55 games in a year, 60,
And those was
67.
because that was the first time he was like actually injured.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, now I get that like Bron is a like anomaly, but I agree, like if you're not playing the game, like you just can't like you can't predict some stuff. You say some stuff is just it's just bound to happen. They was
Mm-hmm.
Kalen, they was I'm trying to protect Kawhi, this low management stuff. And then what happens? He gets injured in the playoffs. It happens almost every single
Man
year.
been low management half the season, and then he played 5 games, and now he has a partially torn meniscus after
Bro,
sitting out 30.
I'm saying.
Like
I,
come
I
on,
just
man.
bro, it's crazy, bro. Hey, speaking of summer league, um, and all the young guys, Amani Bates,
Mm-hmm.
a fan favorite.
Mm.
He
Midwest boy.
put up 17 points, 6 rebounds, shot 40% from 3-point
Mm-hmm.
range. My question to you is how good will the Cavs second round pick Amani Bates be?
Imani Bates will be as good as Imani Bates wants to be. If Imani Bates focuses on basketball, like we've seen him do for a nice period, a majority of his life, focuses
Mhm.
on the game, uses the resources that he's mentioned, the guys like Melo, KD, Ja, Miles Bridges, those guys that he's talked to in the league that have been there and done what he wants to do. Imani Bates could be really one of those guys we look down in the league and 5 to 10 years and we're like, yo, it's time for you to lead a team to win a championship. Like that's the talent and star power that Imani Bates has the potential to have.
Yeah,
You look at guys like a guy that I like to compare Imani Bates to a lot is Brandon Ingram. Like I think Brandon Ingram is one of those guys that really could be the centerpiece to leading a team to a title. He has all the tools offensively, being with the length and width that he has, like he can be as good as anybody else that has played this game. It's just about his focus throughout his career.
I just think he's got to have like a good. I feel like what was good with him is that he got drafted to Cleveland. I've been
Mm-hmm.
in Cleveland. I was born in Cleveland. It ain't nothing there. He can just hoop. He can just hoop.
I'm from Ohio too, so I
Like, you
understand. It
feel
ain't
me? Like,
nothing
he
to
can just
Cleveland.
hoop. Now, if he got drafted by LA, Miami, 19-year-old kid, I mean, like, look, now is probably gonna be some red flags, but he's in a state or he's
Right.
in he's in a city that he really all he got is to hoop. I'm surprised that like looking at like the draft board that the Spurs didn't pick him up because the Spurs they had a second round pick, and they have a great culture, great coach. Pop just got his contract
Mm-hmm.
extension off the strength
Mm-hmm.
of because they got Wembenyama because he wasn't getting that
Absolutely.
contract extension if they did not get Wembenyama. He was either going to retire, but you got Pop locked up.
Right.
You got a great front office, great organization, great vets like Tony Parkers, like the Tim Duncans, the Mon Ginobili's, Dave Robson's, all these guys that will mentor the young players. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
he would have been great alongside Victor Wembanyama. But I do think that he'll probably have some growing pains his rookie year in terms of getting playing time because you still have a star-studded team and the guys like Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland,
Yeah.
Karis LeVert, they gonna get all the shots, and you still got
And that's another
Evan
reason
Mobley.
why I think Cleveland is a good spot for him though, because he has good vets. Like
Mm-hmm.
he has Jared Allen to learn from. He has Donovan Mitchell to learn from. He has Darius Garland. You're talking about guys that haven't been in trouble in the league,
Yeah,
that have focused straight on basketball, and we see the talent that they have, right? And another reason why I don't think the Spurs drafted him, because you brought that up, is they just drafted Malachi from Ohio State, another Ohio boy. They got Keldon Johnson. Like they have guys at his position that are really young. So bringing in another one, it just makes it tough for all those guys to get on the floor. You know what I mean? But I
yeah,
think in Cleveland, it's a great situation for him to learn. With the game that he has, he can learn from um, He can learn from Evan Mobley. He can learn from Donovan Mitchell. He can learn from Darius Garland about how to do what you do, which is score, but how to be efficient with it,
Mm,
how to use less dribbles, how to get to your spots. While learning from the guys that he does in the offseason, the Melos and KDs, about how to polish off all this prolific talent that you have. Like he
mm,
has all the tools. He's had them since he was a freshman in high school. And now we'll be able to see those on a national stage, and on a professional stage. And I'm excited to see what Imani Bates does. I really am.
for sure. Now, I know you're a Celtics fan, and
Yeah.
it'd be a disservice if I didn't bring up this Celtics topic. Is
Mm-hmm.
y'all about to pay Jaylen Brown, or is what y'all about to do with my man? I mean, I'm just trying. It's point blank. Period. What is y'all going to do with Jaylen Brown? You gonna pay him?
Honestly, I think the Celtics will pay him. I just hope that they don't pay him 300 mil.
Mm.
I think he will get paid. I just hope they don't pay him 300 mil. If I
All
was a
NBA.
Celtics personally, if I was a
All.
Celtics personally, he is all NBA. He's all NBA talent. There's no doubt about it. I love Jaylen Brown's game. I think obviously Jaylen Brown knows there's some things that he needs to just tighten up to really polish off the game that he has. But if I was the Celtics, I would have made a true effort in trying to get Dame
Mm.
using Jaylen Brown. I would have used Jaylen Brown to try to get Dame because I think if you put Dame, Tatum, and Porzingis together, you're talking about a championship. Now, I think Jaylen Brown, Tatum, and Porzingis will be interesting to see. But when you add that Dame factor and take out Jaylen Brown, you have your wing, ISO bucket, prolific scorer in Jason Tatum. You have a point guard who can launch it from 37, 40 feet and set the tone out there. And then Porzingis, a lot of people don't know this. He just came off of his best statistical career. I mean, best statistical season of his career
Mm-hmm.
in Washington. So you add those three pieces together, it would be great. But I think the Celtics will pay Jaylen Brown. And if you're not going to go get another superstar talent, you should pay Jaylen Brown. It's just a matter of, do you pay him 300 mil? Nah, nah.
See, I feel like you got a guy in Jason Tatum. What is he, like 25 years old? You got
Mm-hmm.
Jaylen Brown. He's 26.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very long championship window. They're always in the mix.
Absolutely.
They're always in the mix.
Absolutely.
I mean, as a Sixers fan, I know firsthand they always beat us, and we got the MVP. They always beat us. Using it like like, it's not even close most years. Like
Sorry
we, we
about
we was
that.
up 3-2, and I was still scared. I was like, no. And then what happened? Jason Tatum went
Hey,
ahead and went crazy in Game 6,
Jason Tatum.
went stupid in Game 7. Look, you
Mm-hmm.
got these two young guys. That championship window
Is
is
wide.
at least 6 to 7 years. That's at least 6 years. Really, these guys are both wings. They ain't really been injured like that. I'll give him 7, 8 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a long championship window. With Damian Lillard, he's 33 years old. So
But with the way he
I don't
plays,
see Damian Lillard playing at this high level for more than 3 years. That's good. Like, hey, if he's playing like this at
that's interesting.
35, 36,
That's interesting.
he's always going to be a good shooter. But is he
But that's
going to
what I'm
be as
saying.
explosive?
But
Nah.
like with the way that Dame plays though, it prolongs his career. Because is Dame explosive? Absolutely. Can he blow past takeoff? Absolutely. But as that deteriorates, it only makes him better around the arc. But Jaylen Brown, I like your point though. I do think that with those two together, you do have that 6 to 8 year window. And I personally love that. I personally love that. And with the history that they've had, we're talking about 5 years, four Eastern Conference Finals, an NBA Finals. The only time you didn't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals or Finals with these two as your top two is a year that Brown was hurt and out. So I'm pro Jaylen Brown getting paid, staying, and seeing this go on and see what happens. But I just think if they could have got Dame, I would have liked to see that. I
All
would have
right.
liked to see that.
So there's been this topic going around. It's about rings
Mm-hmm.
versus money.
Mm-hmm.
So would you rather have 7 rings and have a career earnings of $50 million, or would you have
Mm,
0 rings, but you know, earnings of $300 million? What you doing?
mm. Me personally, I'm taking the 7 rings for 50 mil.
Hell
That's me.
no. Hell no.
I'm taking it because I think about it like this, right? If I'm in the NBA and I have 7 NBA championships, no doubt with the basketball player that I am, no doubt I was a big piece of winning those championships. So we're talking Hall of Fame, we're talking All NBA, we're talking a lot of personal accolades, but I also got 7 rings to show that I'm a team player as well. Plus, the money is the money. Like 50 mil, I could take that 50 mil and go make 300. I can take that 50 mil and get 300 mil. Whereas we're okay, I took 300 mil, but I don't got nothing to show for it off my career.
Mm.
I ain't put up no banners. I ain't got no rings on my hands. I got to be in these conversations with people like Barkley and I love AI, but AI like they can't talk, and it's certain tiers that of conversation that they can't be a part of. They
Mm.
can't go sit down with Jordan, Magic, Kobe, Shaq. They can't. What are they gonna say? They're gonna say this is the conversation for guys that got 3 rings and above. They can't sit down with Bron. I love Melo. Carmelo Anthony is my favorite player ever.
We gonna talk about
He
him later too.
cannot he cannot talk with Wade and Bron when they're sitting down in a family group. Him and Chris Paul, they can't talk with Wade, Bron, and Bosh. They can't. Hey,
Yeah, not at that table. Not at
they're
that
not at that
table.
table. So for me, I'm gonna take them 7 rings because if you got 7 rings, you in every conversation.
Mm.
Period. Point blank. You in every ring conversation. The only person that you really can't say nothing to is Bill, but nobody can talk to Bill.
Yeah, I would do.
So I'm gonna take that 7 rings, 50 mil.
I'm taking that 300. No question. No question. Because look, these fans, they gonna talk regardless. Let me get my coins while I
Absolutely,
got it. While I got it. But I do think
absolutely.
that certain players, they have to get rings because of how
Mm-hmm.
talented they are. Other
Absolutely.
players, they might be talented, they might be all-star caliber, but they're not at that upper echelon to where they have to win a ring. Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Giannis, Steph Curry. If these guys never won a ring in their
One
career,
ring.
we will look at them like your career was a failure. A hundred
Absolutely.
percent. 100%. So if I'm at that level, then I'm like, all right, like, I'd rather take the rings. But for
Yeah.
majority players in this league, like, the Bradley Beals, the Dames, like all these guys, like even like Jimmy Butlers, like we don't expect them to win championships the way that we expect like those top 10, top 15 players to win championships. So
Mm.
I'm collecting the
That's
cheese.
an
That's what
interesting
I'm just
point.
gonna do. Collect the cheese. And if they still going to tuck, they still going to tuck. I'ma still, have generational wealth. And knowing myself, I might just try to triple, quadruple that 300 mil and do something else too. So I'm like, you
That's
Chuck,
a
you tripping. I'm about to take that cash.
that's an interesting point. And I think another reason why we don't expect some of those guys that you named and mentioned rings because the league is so young. Like
Yeah.
the league now is so young. Back then, like the league was older. Like the heavyweights was the heavyweight. The young guys, you had to wait your turn to be a heavyweight. Now you got guys coming to the league like, here, you the heavyweight at 19. Like, so that's why we like. It's only so many guys that can win rings because of how young the league is. One, but two, the top guys that are older, they come from that other generation. The
Yeah.
KDs, the Bronze, the all these guys that was the guys that are pre 2010 draft,
Mhm.
and then I'll probably say to post 2010 to 2014 are the guys that's carrying the league right now. And then you got all these young guys that just get the keys to the franchise and say, "Well, we got about let's just say 15 years with you." Huh. So we look at it like, oh, why hasn't Zion played so many games, or why hasn't Devin Booker won a championship yet? Why hasn't Luka made it to a finals yet? Man, they've been in the league for 4 years, 5 years.
Exactly.
They've been all these guys that we talked about, the Jordans, the Kobe's, the Magic's unique, Bird's unique, the Shaqs. These guys didn't win in their first 4 or 5 years. Kobe was coming off the bench his
For
first
real.
2 years.
He was
People
shooting
forget that Kobe.
he was shooting air balls in Utah. Like,
You know what I'm saying? So
so
it's yeah, I'm gonna need them 7 rings though.
hey, start bench cut. We got
Mm,
three different like types of start bench cuts because I had an episode
okay.
with a fellow content creator, my OG, the Beast Sports, and he was like,
Yes, sir.
let's do right now at their peak and all time.
Mm,
So we have
mm,
30 sets of players here.
okay.
We first gonna do right now, real quick. Start bench cut, Luka Doncic, Tatum. I'm gonna run that back. Start bench cut, Luka Doncic, Jason Tatum, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Right now, who you got?
Hmm. So this tough. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm starting Giannis. He's a champion. He's all of them are unstoppable at what they do. But when you're talking, he's a champion, defensive player of the year. He do it on both ends of the floor better than 95% of the league. I'm starting Giannis.
No doubt.
I'm benching Tatum. I'm benching Jason Tatum. And this is why. This is why I'm benching Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum, since he's been in the league, he's lived in the Eastern Conference Finals and he's taken his team to a final. He's foreheaded the Boston Celtics organization after a space where we didn't know where that was going to go. After the Pierce and Garnett and Allen and Rondo era, Kyrie come over. Is this gonna work? Kyrie was like, I've been here for 2. I'm ready to slide already. Tatum was like, you know what? Look, I'm your star. Let's go do what we do. And hey, he's lived in the Eastern Conference Finals throughout the bubble, throughout everything. And he took his team to the finals and he lost to a better team in the Warriors.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut Luka off the sole fact just because I value winning. Luka's a great player. It's not Luka's a great player.
You know the Western
But
Conference Finals?
he went to the Western Conference Finals one time. Talking about 1 versus 4. 1 versus 4. That's the only difference. Luka, can he shoot? Yes. Can he offensively create? Is he just as good offensively as Tatum? Absolutely. But I personally like Jason Tatum more on both ends of the floor. And I think everything that Luka can do offensively, Jason Tatum can do just as good, except for passing the basketball.
Mm. Hey, look, I'm gonna go start bench cut, start Giannis, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
That's the top 2 player in the NBA. I'm a bench Luka
Absolutely.
Doncic. He's a killer. He's a killer. And yes,
Okay, Jason
last season
Tatum.
last season was a fluke because they didn't traded to get Kyrie Irving to make up for giving up Jalen Brunson. But if the Mavericks had uh an actual, competent front office, then we're talking about, a team that secures Jalen Brunson and that builds a better defensive sound team and offensive sound team around Luka, just a better team all around. And I'm gonna have to cut
Mm,
Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is amazing. The gap between him and Luka is like this. It's like this.
mm-hmm,
But I just
mm,
think that Tatum is definitely a product of great front office in terms of them getting Jason Tatum. Oh, not my fault. In terms of them getting Jalen Brown, in terms of them getting a guy like Al Horford, again, drafting Marcus Smart even
mm.
before he was in the league. They got him a good team. I mean, they've got him some good players. Like this man played with Kyrie Irving. This man played. I mean, Kemba
I
Walker was
mean,
past his prime. But I mean, like
yeah.
you feel me? Like the front office, some of the Celtics front office, like they gonna put you in position to win. And I think that's why he's been so successful from the start of his career. He's had good coaching. That's never been a problem. It's
Hmm.
Luke. It's always been somebody. Whether I mean he had Luke. I mean not Luke. He had Rick Carlisle. Now he's in Indiana. Jason Kidd. I'm not really love the player, but as a coach, I'm not sold on him. So I just think that it's a product of his coaching. But we don't get into
Yeah.
at their peak. So
Mm.
at their peak, start bench cut Carmelo Anthony, Paul George, T Mac.
At their peak, mm,
Peak.
we're talking about three of my players that I love to watch and molded my game after. At their peak, and it's gonna be tough to say this. I'm gonna start T Mac, bench Melo, and cut Paul George. Starting T Mac because is T Mac at his peak. Are we talking about Orlando T Mac, early Houston's T Mac? Is undeniable. If injuries don't come into play for Tracy McGrady, then we'd be having a different conversation about them rings possibly.
Mm,
Melo, my favorite player ever. But I think offensively, T Mac slightly more athletic. I think they're gifted in the same way when it comes to scoring. But I just think T Mac's slightly more athletic, and I think T Mac is a slightly better defender than Melo. But I don't think they're both either great on defense. And Paul George, I just don't think Paul George peak was better than either one of their personally.
interesting. Interesting.
But Paul George does have zero flaws in his game, outside of the fact that he cannot backdoor cut to save his life.
Yeah. Or the way you say pump fake too. He can't pump fake,
he,
but he still.
he can't bump fake either.
Hey, I would say I'm gonna start T Mac at absolute peak. If you tell me my
Mm-hmm.
career is a different story. I would bench Paul George and I would cut Carmelo. Now, the reason why I'm benching Paul George and I'm cutting Carmelo is because you ain't see what Paul George was doing with them Indiana teams, taking
Do
them
you remember?
seven games. Is Paul George, Roy Hibbert, David West, and with like Darren Collison, Lance Stevenson, who's blowing whistles in guys' ears and stuff like that against the Miami Heat in their prime. He was going toe to toe with LeBron in his prime, in prime. Like I think best
Do you,
Bron was 2018, but physically, ain't nobody messing him. He's going toe to toe with him. You saw that iconic dunk against Birdman. I mean, that Paul George was out of this world. And then that season that Paul George had in OKC when he averaged 28 points, he was, third in MVP voting. I mean, like he was killing it. Only thing that happened was he got injured come postseason time. He still played because he's real, but he wasn't healthy. And then you saw in that offseason, like he said on his podcast, that he had to get surgery on his shoulder, I believe. So I just feel like his peak was better, not only in terms of winning, but in terms of production. And like you said, like somebody that have that gruesome injury that he had and to still bounce back from it,
mm-hmm.
to still bounce back from it, and like to know that I had the athleticism when I was younger, but I still have a crazy bag. Like you talk about skilled players, strictly skill. I think Paul George is top five, top six, top seven at very worst in the game. He's an absolute hooper, absolute hooper. Let's get into all
Mm-hmm.
time. You got Russell Westbrook, Allen Iverson, Chris Paul. Start bench cut
Mm-hmm.
all time. Russell Westbrook,
All
Allen
time.
Iverson, Chris Paul. Talk to me.
Mm. I'm gonna ask you this. You remember Melo versus Kobe in '09? Nuggets Melo? Come
No, he
on.
was no, he was
Come
all right.
on,
Yeah, he was
man.
all
But no, all time start bench
right.
cut, Russ, AI, Chris Paul. Um, Allen Iverson won. That's a no-brainer. We talking about culture. We talking about Hooper. We talking about like, could he guard anybody? No. But his job, he was not paid millions of dollars to guard people. He was paid millions of dollars to hit you with that crossover and get a bucket.
Mm.
So AI's one. And he brought the sleeves, tattoos, the braids. Come on, we know what AI did. Benching, Westbrook. Mr. Triple Dub. Mr. Triple Dub. Come on, man. We talking about a top five, arguably top five, top 10, all time point guard. Russell Westbrook, multiple seasons triple dub.
Top five.
Even. And I'm gonna cut Chris Paul because I mean my team will be all right.
Hey, hey, look. Hey, I'm gonna go ahead. It's crazy being from Philly, Sixers fan. I'm gonna have to start Russell Westbrook. I mean, like, we not bad just poo like 3 straight triple doubles. Like, not by poo that
And
MVP
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
3 straight
Not
and 4 out of 5.
we not about to poo him going ahead and getting a 30-point triple double for a season when his main partner Kevin Durant left him high and dry for the team that beat them. So you got that. Yeah, you got an MVP, been to the finals. He's got every statistical catalog, statistical, like, like success, really. So, or accolade, rather. I'm a bench Allen Iverson, straight killer,
Hey,
straight
you
killer,
scared me there.
straight killer. No, 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 no. That'd be crazy. That'd be
Hey, you
crazy.
scared?
No,
Hey,
cutting
you had me
AI is
scared.
crazy. Cutting
Hey,
AI
you
is
had me
crazy.
scared, dog.
Cutting AI is crazy. But, like, you feel me? I'm gonna have to cut Chris Paul. And again, we talking about some all-time greats here. So if you ain't no disrespect, Chris Paul, that you getting cut, but it's just a certain upper echelon that these players is at that I don't think you've reached. But Chris Paul's time to get to the upper echelon of point guards was in 2021 when he had the Bucks down 0-2. And he had a chance to be a main reason why the Suns got there. Would that be like their first championship in franchise history? So, hey, you can't really blame nobody but yourself. Like, and the people, and the thing is, like, everybody was rooting for Burrow too. And you, Chris Paul, if you watch this, like, you my man, like, you gave me your book, like, you signed it, all that. Like, I really appreciate it. Like, that was love. But, like, on the real though, like, 2021, that was your time. That was your time. Now,
I think it was before that.
I mean, like, yeah, like
I
with
I
the Clippers,
I think
they
it
just
was
had
in
injuries.
Houston. I think it was in Houston. You mean to tell me Chris Paul had the chance to knock off arguably one of the greatest dynasties ever twice.
Yeah.
And injuries happen, I get it. But as we talk, I'm just saying, let that have been Kobe with
Yeah,
a
Kobe.
chance to go home on his home floor and knock off one of the greatest teams ever put together to go to a finals and win
Yeah,
a
Kobe.
chip.
Yeah, Kobe playing. Kobe
Sit
playing.
sit out. Ain't no sitting out, man. Man, if y'all don't get this together, I got 40 to go get. And for Chris Paul, I got 20 and 12 to go get. Had them boys on the ropes, man.
Yeah, that got me so mad
And
because
you
it was
and
a
you
deep
leave
one.
James
It was a deep
hanging?
one.
That's tough.
But
I
James should
hate
have
that
won
injuries
that
happen
game
to him.
7 though. James should have won that, John.
I mean,
It's
yeah, you
always
can
him in
say that.
elimination games. He always be folding.
Yeah, you can say James should have won, but I can't fault James because James stood 10 toes. And who knows? James Harden probably had injuries. Everybody at that time of the season has injuries. Being a basketball player, when you're playing deep into playoffs, tournaments, like everybody has injuries. Everybody's ankles hurt. Everybody's legs is sore. Everybody's minds is slow. Everybody's bodies is aching. Hamstrings, quads, everybody hurting.
Mhm.
Who was the toughest mentally? Is who's gonna win the championship? Come on, dog. So I think
Yeah,
it was before Phoenix, but he could have won that finals in Phoenix.
okay, I know he had his chances. Bro had his chances, so it is what it is. Now got some all time greats on here, but hey, man, want to appreciate you for hopping on this Sunday, y'all. This episode 152 is gonna be
Mm-hmm.
dropped on next Sunday, so be tuning in for
Mm-hmm.
that. Definitely gonna have a lot of promotion for it, and all that. Make sure you follow my guy. Link down below in the description. Anything to say to the people before we go ahead and log off?
Hey man, I just want to say I appreciate you, my dog, having me on. It was great talking to the people. Great talking to you and catching up. It's been a minute. I'm gonna see
No,
you
right, right.
soon. But for the people out there, man, keep tapping in with Real Talk with MJ. Follow me on everything. And I'm more than welcome to have any conversations with anybody. And we most definitely gonna do this again. We're gonna
No
do this
cap.
again.
No cap. After a certain decision is gonna be made or announced, that's when I'm gonna have you back on this joint. Back on
For
this
sure.
joint. You feel
For
me?
sure.
Hey y'all, it's Real Talk with Miles Johnson, where we always keep it real. We out, y'all.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'll let you, my
Yes,
boy.
sir.